So like we do every year, because our community development and engineering budgets are essentially intertwined, Keith and I will be alternating and presenting portions of our respective budgets.
Thanks, Josh. With that, I'll start us off with the building maintenance. This is sort of the facilities manager position of the town engineer here. And I'll just hit on some of our high points here of increases or decreases. So the first one is capital improvements. We kind of tracked to last year's actuals and what we had occurred, and found that did not meet that $200,000 level, so we've chosen to reduce that. We do have a couple of things that are on the horizon. One may be a generator replacement for the town hall. It may actually include adding a generator for the town court building, and we may be on the hook for some air handling unit replacements, one on the town hall and potentially one at the town court here. Last year we had identified a potential to do a facility of sort of a town-wide building facilities assessment. That sort of that did not get completed in some ways because of the just sheer lack of manpower and bandwidth to take that on, and we may look to redo that here in some upcoming years, but we don't anticipate doing that in 2026. I think at this point I've got enough background about some of our buildings here to move forward and understand what we need to do in the immediate future. So we eliminated that from our budget. Some increases in maintenance, just these are sort of the emergency things that come up, or the sky is falling moments. This is if we have to replace a compressor unit or toilets or whatever here between the town hall and the town court. So that's sort of a guesstimate, if you will, of what we think we might need for ongoing maintenance. Town cleaning services, our contract is up, I believe, at the end of this year, and we are looking to go out to an RFP. We did look at previous bids that came in when this was first awarded, and noted that the next low bid, if you will, or the next bid on the list was considerably higher by about $9,000, so we identified at least that much as a potential going into 2026. And then finally, within this first category here of building maintenance is a telephone service. And I would have to actually acquiesce to Paul on that because it's not a dollar value that I identify.
Yeah, we have seen some pretty sizable increases. The bill gets split with the general part town and timewide fund. So we just adjusted it to what we've seen actually.
Thanks. All things being equal within that building maintenance, you'll see that we do have a reduction from about $492,000 to $318,000 for 2026.
Okay, the fire marshal's office, we did a slight increase in the overtime line. These are for call-outs on after business hours and on weekends when the fire marshals are called for various reasons to sites. And we based the increase on the frequency we've been seeing this current budget year. The salaries are pretty much set by the collective bargaining agreements. There was a slight increase in computer equipment and licensing. The capital purchase vehicle accessories, we've eliminated that. That was a one-time cost associated with outfitting one of our new leased vehicles. so that will not be a recurring expense. Vehicle operating lease expenses are remaining flat as we've replaced the vehicles in this particular unit. The training and seminars, I actually, since sitting down with Paul and doing the first draft of the budget, was able to sharpen my pencil, and we're actually able to decrease the training and seminar down to 1,000. The course that the fire marshals took in Syracuse is no longer being offered, so now they are taking advantage of another opportunity that is local and more affordable. Supplies are remaining flat, and we actually have reduced the auto maintenance. This could actually be reduced even further due to the vehicles being essentially brand new, so we can actually drop that down to 500 to cover just basic oil changes and tire rotations. And then there's a slight drop in the fuel costs. So pretty much year over year, pretty steady. I don't anticipate a reduction in the revenue line for fire inspection fees. I'm not quite sure why that was reduced.
That's about what we're tracking, actually, so
Okay.
I put in the amount that matched actual history.
Okay. So the way that our billing works, we do send out the invoices quarterly, so there tends to be a lag time from when we send out the invoices to when we receive the revenue. But regardless, we do anticipate it to remain roughly in line with this current year. And then in terms of the Conservation Board, nothing really drastically changing here. I believe there's just a slight cost of living adjustment for their stipends.
Okay, Public Works, this is the category that town engineering primarily finances a lot of their efforts out of. Again, I'll talk through some of the changes that we have direct effect on, as well as, where we see significant increases or decreases, and there are primarily 4 of them here. First, I'll start off with full-time employees, B1490.10111. This represents, I believe, both the cost of living increases, step increases, as well as the addition of a half FTE. We are proposing to, in this year's budget, to have an engineering technician, hire an engineering technician. We did have a position open that was for a part-time construction inspector. We'd like to no longer fill that position and fill that with actually a full-time engineering technician. The next one, again, here is the town hall cleaning. This is similar to what we talked about under the facility maintenance lines. We anticipate a fairly significant jump there. Moving down into conferences, which is .40140. Both Josh and I anticipate attending a number of conferences in 2026 that we've not had the availability or the ability to attend in 2025. I can identify a local Institute of Transportation Engineers Conference, a Rochester Engineering Society Conference, as well as an APWA conference. All of those conferences include continuing education credits that I am required to maintain my PE license as well. And then finally, there's a significant jump in item 40278, which is engineering and surveying services. And this was a miss. This $5,000 was a miss as of last year. It did not get properly budgeted, and we are tracking fees that are in the neighborhood of probably $100,000. I don't know that it will be that much, but it certainly is a line item that we need to maintain at some significance to take care of areas of expertise that neither I nor Mark, our assistant engineer, have.
You say it's for surveying?
What's that?
What was that for, the $100,000?
That would be for any types of outside services, engineering fees, external engineering fees, or if we need to have surveyors come on for specific needs that are related either to plan review or capital projects that we're maybe undertaking. It's a catch-all for those.
Thanks.
We are looking at a slight increase, well, not a slight, about $100,000 increase in that category year over year.
Okay. Building department, we have one part-time employee, building clerk, who is actually retired and works approximately 30 hours a week. We've kept the overtime relatively stable year over year. The building inspector and assistant building inspector salaries are again governed by the collective bargaining agreements, as is the code enforcement officer. Computer equipment and licensing, again, remaining pretty flat. Professional services, now this we budgeted, you may see a pretty substantial increase. Much like Keith described, this was budgeted for a specific purpose, but it was utilized over the course of maybe even 2024 at the beginning of the Fairlife project. So we are anticipating continued support early in 2026 based on the schedule of construction for that project. I think Paul had been utilizing this line for that, but when we originally budgeted it, it was intended for another purpose. That's why there's such a significant delta there. The professional services for code enforcement, that was eliminated in error in the current budget. So we're putting that back in for 2026, and that is to serve official notices associated with code enforcement where our town employee is unable to reach them, or if it's an out-of-town situation. Town code compliance, we're keeping flat, same as this current budget year. That's where we utilize a third-party vendor to perform work that on properties that are not code compliant. We then invoice that homeowner, and if they fail to pay, the cost of that service gets added to their tax bill. Office supplies, again, pretty flat. Slight increase in dues and conferences for the building department, and a slight reduction in fuel expenses.
I should probably point out that just above here in the public works section, you'll see inspection and engineering fees, $450,025 dropping to $40,026, basically dropping us back to what we normally would collect. The $450 was basic, for the most part, came from Fairlife. They paid us about $1.5 million for various fees, which was amortized over 2023, 2024, and 2025 to match the progress of the project. So 25 is the last year for that, so that's why you're seeing a big drop in revenue. But that revenue is what's funded a lot of these professional services which were needed to help us get through that project.
Thanks, Paul.
But now that we don't have those revenues coming in and we still have those high professional services,
Well, we didn't spend all the revenues, so
okay?
there's still surplus funds, plenty of surplus funds.
So is there still Fairlife associated project fees or plan reviews that require that level of expertise outside of the departments that would typically do that?
In short, yes. With it being a design-build project, and even though they've made significant progress, believe it or not, they're still making design changes currently. So we are still utilizing our third-party consulting firm to aid in the plan review of each revision that we get. And we anticipate that continuing through the remainder of this year and early into next year.
Thank you.
Zoning Board of Appeals, the only real change here that you'll notice is basically a swap that reflects a change to our current DeMarco Taylor law firm rather than the previous W-2 employee, which was reflected in 25. So that's why those two lines are basically indicating a switch of sorts.
The same for planning.
And then in this section, master plan expenses. So in 2025, we had budgeted $150,000. Because this is a multi-year project that will span into next year, we're reflecting a $50,000 expense associated with those costs. But again, the grant funds we did receive will offset that expense.
On the benefit side, we saw a pretty good increase to the retirement contribution. Some of that's due to increased rates and also the reallocation across all the funds. The medical insurance for employees up substantially. Basically, I found that one wasn't being allocated properly either, so I had to right size it. So it's not all due to increases in employees or to rate increases, although there is also a 12% rate increase baked in there as well. And then the retirees insurance, that's up about $22,000, and as I stated earlier, there have been large increases to the Medicare supplemental plans. The premiums have gone up almost 100% over 2 years, believe it or not. We had like an 80% increase from 24 to 25, and now we'll probably be looking at maybe another 20%. So
At some point, do you look at sharing some of the cost increases? Is there something different with municipal government versus the commercial sector? I'm the newest one here, but like, I know even my husband works for the post office and his costs go up every single year. Are we absorbing 100% of the increases in the budget?
it depends on whatever union contract the employee retired under. That drives how the medical insurance is covered for the remainder of their lives. But yeah, many pay a percent, but that percent is a fixed percent, not a fixed amount, but a fixed percent over their life.
I see.
Yep. And those supplemental plans have gone up quite a bit because of congressional changes and the Medicare law, pushing more of the cost toward the insurance companies. Basically, they're covering less, so it has to be picked up by the insurance companies, which caused the huge spike in premiums.
It's tough.
And those increases actually happened last year, but then the federal government put money towards that so that we wouldn't see those huge increases last year. Is that correct?
Pardon?
I said that increase happened last year.
Yeah.
But the federal government came out with some program to put money towards it so that we wouldn't see those huge
That's correct.
increases last
They pushed it till after the election.
year. Yes,
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
you wouldn't actually see it till January of '25,
Correct.
and when it was actually effective in like September of '24. It's just the truth.
Are all these provisional or position, or is it, appointed position for all the employees that you have in your department?
In my department currently,
Yes.
currently there is one provisional employee. Of the two, Mark Stein and I make up the department of engineering at this point. And of that, Mark is still provisional. He is yet to take his exam.
Take the what?
His exam has not been scheduled yet.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it? I like it. Any other questions or comments?
No.
All right.